From wherever you're joining us, here in Lagos, Nigeria, and across the globe, we are glad to have you join us at this time. Now, to begin with, Ondo State government has confirmed that 22 people lost their lives at the shooting, which occurred at the St. Francis Catholic Church on Sunday, while 66 others are on admission for various degrees of injuries. The Commissioner for Health in the state, Dr. Banji Ajaka, made this known to newsmen today in his office at Alagbaka, Akure, the state capital. The commissioner said 4 of the worshippers have been discharged, while 7 others are treated as outpatients. He said the figures are that of those present at the Federal Medical Center, FMC, and St. Louis Hospital, both in Owo. Dr. Ajaka Reva thanked various bodies and organizations who have stood behind the state for their help and support towards the victims. The country's representative for World Health Organization, WHO, Dr. Walter Mulumbo, said the organization is devastated when the team visited the victims at the hospital. Bello affirms that World Health Organization will do everything within its capacity to assist the state in the areas of medical supplies.
In summary, the total number that we know as of today is 88, while 22 of the 88 died, with 66 survived, and many of them are in different and various degree of injury in St. Louis Hospital, Owo, and Federal Medical Center, Owo. We thank our governor. We are grieving in Ondo State. This is a very, serious time for us. The situation is terrible for us. We are grieving, but we cannot surrender to fate. We are coordinating all the activities.
Bringing in some kits, the kits that are used to respond to emergencies, and we'll stand by and continue to provide our support. We have in our team specialists for mental health and psychosocial support, which is some of what you might expect after an incident like this. So we leave them with the Ondo State government to continue to support them. We have a number of specialists, and we will be ready to continue to provide any additional support as may require, of course, within our capabilities.
Now, delegates have arrived at the Eagles Care in Abuja ahead for the presidential primary election of the All Progressive Congress, APC. According to the schedule of the event, delegates were supposed to be on the venue of the exercise by 10 a.m., but that did not happen as the delegates began to arrive at the venue around 2 p.m. About 2,322 delegates are expected to be in attendance as the ruling party picks its flag bearer for the 2023 presidential election. Officially, 23 aspirants were jostling for the ticket, but the party has advised 10 of them to withdraw, with latest media reports indicating the numbers have dropped even further to 5 aspirants. There are indications that the number will not get smaller before the day runs out as high-level meetings involving governors and other party stakeholders continue. Meanwhile, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello says excluding his name on the ballot box in Tuesday's convention to elect the party's presidential flag bearer for the 2023 election will be a recipe for trouble. Governor Bello is one of the 23 aspirants cleared to contest the party's presidential ticket in the 2023 election, said there is a conspiracy against him, accusing the APC northern governors and some elite of gang up. Bello said the only thing that could make him not contest the presidential primary is only if President Muhammadu Buhari tells him to step down. While speaking to State House correspondents after a meeting behind closed doors with the president, Bello said the APC will retain power at the center if only it plays by the rules. Bello said the APC governors of northern extraction did not consult him when they took the resolution that power should shift to the south, and that resolution was not bidding on him.
I am a free citizen, a free member of the party, a qualified member of the party. I contested. I'm contesting. I bought the form. I was cleared. to participate in the election, and no reason for me to be excluded from the ballot. If they do so, then that is a recipe for a bigger trouble for the party. However, I don't think it's a decision of the party. It is a decision of few elites who may decide to use their whatever position to suppress the so-called minority. But I want to prove that in this country, I am not in the minority. We have the majority. I belong to the younger generation. I belong to the generation of Nigerians that are oppressed, and they are saying they must have their voice. And I believe strongly that getting into that arena today, I will win overwhelmingly.
He reiterated his opposition to the rotational presidency, saying it doesn't give room for the emergence of a competent person to pilot the affairs of the country. In the same token, 7 presidential aspirants under the platform of the All Progressive Congress have dismissed the names of 5 presidential aspirants purported to the President Muhammadu Buhari to select a consensus candidate from, stressing that they were not consulted before the governors arrived at this decision. The aggrieved aspirant, in a terse statement issued in the early hours of Tuesday, shortly after a brief meeting in Abuja, described the move as symbolic and an already failed attempt to sideline other party aspirants, particularly those from the Southeast and South-South. The aspirants, namely Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade, former Minister for State for Education Emeka Nwajuba, former Minister for Science and Technology Ogbonnaya Anu, former Governor Rochas Okorocha, businessman Tin Jack Rich, in a joint statement issued by Ogbonnaya Anu on their behalf, distance themselves from the purported list. According to them, the motive for the governors is in their personal selfish interest, not the South. They also clarified that at no time did the president equivocally supported zoning of the presidency to the South, saying that though they were in support of the presidency going to the South, especially to the Southeast, neither them nor other Southeast presidential aspirants were consulted before any or such decision was taken. Urging Nigerians to disregard the report, Ono stressed that neither the Governors Forum nor Northern Governors had any moral or constitutional jurisdiction to determine the political fate of the State. The former Minister of Science and Technology said 5 of the Northern Governors have promised the office and Vice President, which has certainly prompted some of the governors to push for the zoning of the All Progressive Congress presidential ticket to the South. Political analyst Barrister Steve Adaramoye says a democratic commotion is going on in APC. Up until a day before the primaries, Nigerians are still unsure of how APC's presidential primary is to be carried out or the exact candidates contesting. As some candidates lament their disqualification from the race, Adaramoye opines that it would have been more democratic for the party to allow the candidates contest head-on. He said this single act as well as the unprecedented declaration of Ahmed Lawan as the presidential candidates by the national chairman, have put the party's democracy in jeopardy.
The texture or quality of leadership has to be made of a standard stuff because of the delicate moment we find ourselves. It's a very, very, very volatile time. Asking for somebody to step down, are you forcing them? Is that democracy? Where there is no freedom. So when there is no freedom to exercise your will, when you are being cowed down to certain order from certain places, it's no more democracy.
He commends APC for zoning their ticket to the South, however laments that the unity in the Southeast is not strong enough. He also said Nigerians' problems is now beyond zoning.
There are certain things which have to be addressed in the country. Until those things are done, if they conduct this election successively, it will not last. Because the adred monstrous problem confronting the country. They have not been addressed.
Senator Sulaiman Hankui has emerged Kaduna State governorship candidate for the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, though through affirmation by 732 delegates. The NNPP candidate will now slug it out with Isa Mohammed Ashiru of People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Obasani of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and other governorship candidates from other political parties as the general elections in 2023. Nkuri represented Kaduna North Senatorial District in the 8th National Assembly under the APC before he defected to PDP in 2019. The former lawmaker, however, dumped the PDP in February 2022 and joined the NNPP. In his acceptance speech, Senator Okoye promised to deliver dividends of democracy to the people of Kaduna State if elected governor in the 2023 general election.
That should once more take its position and its own people should again hold their heads high and proud. Join me and our modest group to break the APC stranglehold. Join us to re-engineer a new modest social beginning and social order.
The Delta State government has berated the Deputy Senate President and governorship aspirant in the All Progressive Congress in the state, Senator Ovio Omagege, over what he described as the incessant misrepresentation of facts relating to the development strides of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. The Delta State Commissioner for Information, Charles Aniago, made this known in the media briefing while responding to comments by the campaign organization of Omagege about Okowa's administration receiving the sum of 770 billion naira with nothing to show and sour relationship between former Governor James Ibori and Governor Anyanwu. Aniago said there is no frosty relationship between former Governor James Ibori and Okowa as they enjoy a healthy relationship so far.
The governor has always briefed you almost all the time quarterly. You have also followed our budgetary provisions. Each time we are presenting the budget, we give you the percentage performance of the budgets. And you do know that these states we have always paid salaries. So if we have always budgeted almost over 150 on the recurrent, 150 billion on the recurrent part of the budget, and we have always executed that 100%, automatically that tells you that the man's calculation is wrong. So even when you say 150 times 7, that will even give you over 1 trillion naira. And now that he mentioned that amount was not our problem, but for him to say that there is nothing to show for it.
The commissioner says the choice of the PDP for a northern presidential candidate, which Governor Okowa openly supported, is about the best man for the job and not sentiment.
As a government, as a people, of course you know my governor and you know his character. Governor Okowa cannot ask anybody to write anything against Ibori. If anybody wakes up and is writing stories that are not true about us, we assume that they are doing so on their own accord, not because we are expecting or suspecting that somebody's of Ibori stature, because we also trust that Ibori will not do the same thing, that he will not go and attack us. So in case you are busy reading where people are attacking our leader, James Ibori, it is not coming from us. We did not ask anybody to do that. There is no war between us and Ibori. He still remains our leader.
The Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria wants the federal government to revamp the nation's economy in a bid to save conventional media organizations from collapse. The chairman, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, John Ugbe, made this call at a stakeholders meeting between Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria and the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Correspondent John Felix now reports.
This gathering has the big names in the media and advertising industry. Their mission is to ensure that the cordial relationship between advertising and the broadcast industry remains great. However, discussions on the need to have a robust economy to sustain their business operations come to the fore. The board chairman, represented by the executive secretary, says the meeting is expected to address the age-long problem of debt recovery in the industry, amongst others.
Many stations, most especially the private stations, are finding it very difficult to survive because of huge debt and payment delay by advertising agencies. We call on government to urgently take steps that will bring the economy back on track, as the issues raised above portend grave consequences for the nation, as accurate, verified, and information dissemination, public enlightenment, and entertainment provided by the conventional media organizations might no longer be available, giving way to the uninhibited proliferation of fake news and unverified information.
We are saying that the days of impunity, we are saying that the days of unfair business trading should be gone. Everybody needs to sit down and say, how do we do this mess and how do we best do it? How is this business done in other climes and how are they surviving the hardship and economic realities of time?
It is therefore a positive development that APCON and BON are working together to develop strategies and reforms that will lead to recovery of huge debts which advertisers and advertising agencies are owing organizations, as well as coming up with modalities that will curb accumulation of further debts in accordance with international best practices.
Some of the stakeholders speak on ways to overcome the challenge.
The kind of reform I expect is such that it will put our organization in a very good standing, talking about what we do on air and how we do them, especially in the area of operations. Right now, you realize that the price of diesel is already skyrocketing. And aside that, electricity is so scarce. At times, you don't get electricity for more than 5 minutes, maximum of 10.
We are post-COVID. The rate of diesel is way above whatever. 2 days ago it was 650. Yesterday it was 700. Tomorrow is going to go up. We need to be able to understand the dynamics of economics, to be able to treat broadcasters well by the advertising advan, the advertisers themselves, AAPN or MIPAN, the people that put adverts on radio and television stations, so that the radio and television station that we all know will be able to be a robust company.
It is no longer news that many broadcast organizations, especially the private stations, are finding it difficult to run their businesses. Participants here say the time for government to act is now. From Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, John Felix reporting for Galaxy Television News.
You're watching the news on Galaxy Television. We'll switch gears for a moment as we join our international desk for more.
Welcome to the international scene. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he was very happy Boris Johnson was still UK Prime Minister after he survived an attempt to oust him. Mr. Johnson won a confident vote despite a major revolt that saw 148 of his own Tory MPs vote to remove him. I'm glad we haven't lost an important ally. This is great news, Mr. Zelensky said at an online event. Mr. Johnson has forged a close relationship with President Zelensky since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He called Mr. Johnson a true friend of Ukraine and a concrete supporter in an interview at a virtual conference hosted by the Financial Times on Tuesday. The UK was among the first to provide weapons to support Ukraine's defense and, like its Western allies, has imposed sweeping sanctions on Russia's targets prosecuting the war. In April, Mr. Johnson pledged unwavering support on a visit to the capital, Kyiv, where he did an unannounced walkabout of the city with President Zelensky. Mr. Johnson has faced a backlash from MPs and the public after he was fined by police for breaking his own lockdown laws at a 2020 party in Downing Street, where the Prime Minister lives and works. Some conservative MPs have cited the war in Ukraine as a reason not to oust Mr. Johnson from office on the confidence vote in Parliament on Monday. Rallying his MPs ahead of the vote, Mr. Johnson said it was the wrong time for unforced domestic political drama when Ukraine was fighting Russian President Vladimir Putin's forces. Mr. Johnson won the backing of 59% of his MPs, describing the result as extremely good, positive, conclusive, and insisting his leadership was now secure.